If you have not watched the first part, go and watch it first. You will find its link in description. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Union. In the last video, we have covered physical properties of metal and non-metal. In this video we are going to cover the chemical properties of metal and non-metal too. So, let's begin. First of all, let we study about reactive table of metal and non-metal. Both the table are on your screen. The metal table is at your left side, while the non-metal table is at your right side. Now let we see some of the common metals which are reactive. I'm going to read their names from the most reactive to the least. Number 1 reactive metal is potassium, which is preceded by sodium, then calcium and other, which are magnesium, aluminium, copper, silver, gold, and platinum. Now let we see the reaction of metals with oxygen. When metal react with oxygen it form metallic oxide, which is mostly time basic, but sometimes it can be acidic too. For example, magnesium plus oxygen form magnesium oxide, which is basic in nature, but sometimes it can also be acidic. We will see more examples in next slide, but now we will study about the reaction of non-metal with oxygen. When non-metal react with oxygen it form non-metallic oxide, which is acidic. For example, carbon plus oxygen formed carbon dioxide. Now let's see some example of metal reacting with oxygen. Sodium with oxygen from sodium oxide, while copper plus oxygen form copper oxide, which is a thin layer on the copper. Third number, when iron react with oxygen it form iron oxide, which also form a thin layer on the iron. And the fourth number is aluminium, which react oxygen form aluminium oxide. Okay, now let we see the reaction of metal with water. There are two possibilities. In first possibility, the metal with water can form metallic oxide plus hydrogen gas, but in the second possibility it can form metal hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Now let's see some examples, because metal react differently with water. The first, which we are going to discuss, is potassium and sodium. These two elements react vigorously, and at that time the hydrogen gas which is released catches fire quickly. In the second number it is calcium, which is not vigorous but also this reactive with cold water. Okay, now the third number, which is magnesium, which not react with cold water but it react with hot water. And the fourth number, which are aluminium and iron, which also not react with cold water or hot water, but they are able to react with steam. Now let me see the reaction of non-metal with water. There is a problem that non-metal directly not react with water, but they react with non-metallic oxide with water, which form acid. For example, carbon dioxide plus water form carbonic acid. Now let we see the reaction of metal with acid. Mostly time metal plus acid give us salt plus hydrogen gas, but sometime it can be different. For example, magnesium react with hydrochloric acid to give magnesium chloride plus hydrogen gas. In the same, aluminium react with hydrochloric acid to give aluminium chloride plus H2 gas, but copper is less reactive than hydrogen. That's the reason copper oxide plus nitric acid will give you copper nitrate plus water. But platinum is a element which does not react with any compound, so the only acid which can react with it is 4 nitric acid, and 6 hydrochloric is when it is mixed with platinum it can react. Last but not the least, which is displacement reaction. In this reaction, a more reactive metal will displace a less reactive metal. For example, when zinc will react with copper sulfate, the zinc can displace copper as the copper is less reactive than zinc, and then the copper will be separated from the copper sulfate and it will become zinc sulfate plus copper.